Yeah, I'll do Indian stocks someday. I'll do Reliance. A lot of Indian research out there. So I like sell-side research, especially for the foreign stocks, because, you just don't get a feel for the foreign stocks like you can with the American stocks. So the sell-side research really becomes valuable. India's interesting. I mean, you've got tons of companies. Reliance Jio. The Jio is kind of remarkable. I don't think, can you trade just Jio? I don't think so. It's just a part of Reliance, right? It's weird because a lot of the large MNCs have captive Indian companies. So there actually is like a Glaxo India and other companies. And I don't even know if they're full subsidiaries, honestly. Yeah, I don't know when I'm going to work on Sun. Obviously, it's just a stub model. It's not a... Can you trade India with Interactive Brokers? I haven't tried in a while. Experience helps a lot, once you have some experience, it takes years of applying principles to, then you get some experience and then you understand what it is that, how to apply it better. You're mixing up tons of different concepts. I don't even know who Darwin is. I definitely don't care about what other investors do. Yeah, I think that on Wall Street, especially in private equity, you have to build out the free cash flow statement and discount that. But the reality is free cash flow and net income do converge over time. That is what accounting is all about. So you have to understand that. And then for capital light businesses, cloud is no longer capital light, by the way. Basically like the minor amount of CapEx, say, a drug company has doesn't mean anything. In the long run, earnings are just a function of your margins, your model. Yeah, I don't know who Darwin Capital is. Nor do I care. Do people use TalkTwits? I know nobody professional uses it. Oh, you guys speaking retail, go away. There's no Wall Street cartel of short sellers. You guys are acting like I didn't invent DCFs, bro. It's like about Bitcoin and quantum, so it's pretty specialty focused. Then I'm doing another one with Wifey. The Wifey reveal is real. The Newegg pre-announced already, so I don't think they said anything new. Okay, so yeah, the growth was pulled forward on tariffs, which is what I thought. That's the only thing that could shake Newegg out of their permanent slump, a one-time tariff boost. We remain short. They lost money, and they lost money in the first half of 25, so much for that. Talking about EBITDA. Yeah, we get a lot of decks to send out. Sorry, I've got overwhelmed. Yeah, I don't know, Abby. Sorry. I don't, just follow somebody else's investments just because they've been doing well or something like that. I'll make up my own mind. I couldn't care less if Warren Buffett's in the stock or anybody else. If I don't like it, I don't like it. I have a couple of reports coming out hopefully in the next few days. Yeah, they're down to 59 million in cash. That's pretty crazy, actually. Yes, the gross margin dollars. Not a whole lot better than they were in the past, despite the tariff benefit. Okay, so I think the second half, they generally do generate cash. They sort of have to. If the first half is this bad, build inventory for the second half. Not uncommon, I suppose. So that's how they've avoided disaster. Nvidia down 2% on H20 cancellation. Rigetti down 3%. Sanha down 3%. Pinduoduo up 4%. Novo rebounding a little bit. ACM Research. Semiconductor company up. Ubiquity up. Newegg up. Super X AI Technology. Wow, what a name. Biohaven up a little bit. So is Zoom. Netgear still around. Intuit down 7%. Big, huge name for us. And big drop there. Workday also down 4%, software taking on chin. Palantir down 1%. Alphabet up slightly, I guess, on the Meta cloud deal. Our Abivax is now at 76. Huge. I don't really know what Open does. And Newegg just reported their off-cycle quarter. Same thing with NVIDIA next week. Yeah, I'm not interested in Palantir yet. A little lower I would be. All right, what's going on? Market ticking up further. Quantum's really been taking on chin the last week or so. You'll love to see it. Abivax 76, we're almost 80. Newegg wants to be a problem child, that's okay. In 3 months, stock will be at 10. Yeah, PGen has been up nicely as well. ATYR will be at 0 soon. Rocket almost at 4. I don't know what's going to happen with that one. It's highly risky. At 13 now of NVIDIA's finest. Although the B200's out, I want to try that. It's so expensive. I don't think Abivax earnings make much of a difference. I have to make a unexpected surprise biological break. I'll be back in. Unfortunately, it's a Rigetti, so I might be back in like 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 2 hours. We'll see. Hopefully quickly. Show you guys the port real quick. Shorts. This is an order of size. I worked at an institution, several institutions. What else do you learn? I do think CoreWeave will make more money next quarter, but it was very weird that they didn't make any money in Q1 or Q2. Or even the whole first half, I think. Microsoft's like, we don't have to pay you. So it's like, huh? Yeah, like, we're Microsoft. We pay what we want. Oh, unless you have another customer for your million GPUs. They're like, no, we don't. Then we're going to pay you when we want. Like, Satya, I didn't know you were like this. He's like, next time you talk, it's another 3 months before we pay you. You seem like such a nice guy on TV. Well, I'm not. And they go to OpenAI and ask the same thing. Hey, you guys, I know you ordered 200,000 GPUs and we set them all up for you. We paid for the GPUs. But, can you pay your bill? Sam Altman's like, yeah, I think we will be able to pay the bill at some point next year. And by the time I finish this sentence, I don't know if we'll be able to pay your bill or it'll be next year. That's when I'm going to pay the bill. Come back later, okay? Who else is left? How many more customers do we have? Who's left? Who's the other CoreWeave customer? Not AWS, not Google, right? It's just Microsoft and OpenAI, basically. Do they have another one? I mean, Microsoft's a pretty good customer to have. Except I won't pay the bill. I'll pay it when I feel like it. Sam, I'm going to pay it when I feel like it. I'm going to empower Microsoft by depriving CoreWeave. AI at all. I'm not into this paying CoreWeave at all. We pay when we feel like it. Not when you tell us to. Now, I'm sure they will collect their receivables. Collections architect. You bought a software architect and a GPU architect. Now you're a collections architect. Go ahead, sue me. Sue Microsoft, your only customer. See how that goes. We'll pay in 2028. Yeah, I want to work on all my impressions and then just do like a podcast where I do them all. But the problem is like, I don't know, I'm not Godfrey 1. These voices aren't that interesting. Like Mark Andreessen just sounds like a normal dude. Yeah, check CoreWeave's cash flow for last quarter and like their accounts payable is just like growing by $500 million. I mean, it's normal when your sales grow, your accounts payable grow, your accounts receivable grow, everything grows. Their accounts receivable grew by an enormous amount and they had negative cash flow as a result. So I said payable and receivable. Ben and Mark are just normal dudes. They don't, their voices aren't that interesting, when you do impressions, you want people to just laugh out loud. You don't want them to be like, oh, that's pretty good. That's not funny. And the whole only reason you would impersonate somebody is for humor. I didn't realize there were like 10 ETH ETFs. It's still overvalued. I mean, they don't have a business. We're doubling down on a very pointed work. Stiffing CoreWeave. They probably already paid, Dan. Don't make too big a deal of that. Those idiots bought all these GPUs thinking we would pay them. We've been using them, but every time they pay, they try to collect. Yeah, if you think about buying stocks or anything based on where it was previously, I think you've got a major issue. It absolutely is irrelevant where the price was recently. And why would you care? Just get comfortable with what you think it's going to be worth.
Statistics say if any method works in quantitative investing, one of the main ones that seems to work is momentum. So you buy stocks that have gone up a lot, short stocks that are going down a lot, and that typically works. When I say typically, I literally mean like 50.1% of the time or something. Yeah, it's actually a better risk return up here, exactly. That's one of the things that a lot of people don't realize. If you bought Abivax at 10, well, it's great, but you're taking this 50-50 coin flip. I'd rather buy it at 50-55 first thing after the data comes out, and for 200. Well, I didn't need to buy it at 10. Buy it at 50. Take no risk. I didn't understand the drug, the mechanism, the data, all that stuff. It's a lot of work to do, but commercial's easy. Understanding commercial opportunity to drug is half an hour of diligence. I've seen it all. But the hard thing is the clinical data, mechanism, all the science. That stuff you can't just figure it out overnight. Yeah, just markets up 2%. That quantum's like 4 betas. That makes sense. I don't know what's going to happen to Abivax. I feel like I like the CEO a lot. Mark is a really great CEO. He's one of the few biotech CEOs, pharma CEOs I trust. He's got great data. It's going to be a multi-billion-dollar drug. Could the stock trade down? Absolutely. There's no rules in the stock market. It could trade down, and then get bought out. It could also, something could go wrong, God forbid. I don't think that's going to happen, but, things do go wrong sometimes. You get tox, you get an impurity. I remember this one funny situation. It was Onyx, ONXX. And I was long the stock, hoping for a takeover. Thought it would be a great fit for a lot of the big drug companies. And they had an impurity in their new drug, proteasome inhibitor. How could you guys not get this right? And because manufacturing isn't that hard. It's a small molecule, if I recall correctly. It can't be that difficult to make this guy. And it was just so annoying as a shareholder. Guess what I did? I sold all my stock. I had a good sized position. Of course, a few months later, Amgen bought some out. I feel like it's sad. This was many years ago. But it's very hard to do timing. Buffett says this too. Timing, you have and direction. Just be happy getting the direction. You have to get the timing. You get the direction right, you'll be a billionaire. You want to get the timing right too. That's like saying I want to be Michael Jordan and I want to be, Pele, something like that. Very happy just getting the direction right, even if it means I have to take a little pain soon. I'd rather not get into the mind of the market and the psychology. Some people say that's all there is to it, and I say, God bless you. Go ahead. You want to buy stocks without even knowing what they do? Good for you. But for me, I'm okay just being comfortable buying stocks that I like, stocks that I don't like. Occasionally I'll get a drawdown. I had a really big drawdown to start this account. It was embarrassing. It's frustrating. I didn't like writing every day. I was honest with you guys. I didn't delete my account. I didn't go on vacation until it got better. I said, I'm down. Quantum's a joke. It's a zero. I'm just going to wait. And I found some other good investments, and I'm doing fine. So, I think you focus on what you can control. You can't control the market, and the market's psychology and its timing. So why focus on it? Why try to guess it? I can't focus on the prices I pay for securities. That's something I can take my time. I don't have to rush. Like I said, with Abivax, I knew Abivax was coming. I didn't know it was going to be good data or not, so I didn't trade. I sat in my hands. Sitting on your hands is the most powerful thing you can do as a trader. It really is the smartest thing to do most of the time. It's almost always the right move. People feel compelled to act because they're either managing money for a third party or many third parties, or sometimes they feel like they're compelled to act because they feel compelled to act because you're greedy, and your need to make money overrides the part of your brain that is telling you to calm down, sit this one out, you don't know what's going on, or you're too levered or whatever. all of those things will conspire to, get you trading when you shouldn't be trading. And, having the discipline, I think that's the word, to sit there and say, I don't have to do anything. There's no gun to my head. A lot of people use 100% of their margin. You can see me, I do it. It's a big mistake. You don't have to do that. You want to keep cash because the positions are going to go against you a little bit. They're going to go a little against you at some point. You're going to want more firepower at some point to say, you know what, I want to take this position and increase it, or I get a better price, or instead of buying it all at once, I'm going to buy it over next month. So anyway, we all fall into these traps, but I think, you got to do your best to stay sober, especially when you're making money. When you're losing money, you almost perk up sometimes. Now, some people have tilt, like poker, they actually make worse decisions when they lose money. Some people have reverse tilt. They make some money and they get God mode. I have both. So, recognizing it is the first step to succeeding. Once you recognize it, you can kind of take some kind of action. Easy to have both. Well, yeah. Go for the 100% returns. You'll be richer than the richest man in the world really quickly. You can time things and get the right direction. I should just give my money to you. I usually want to short at the max height. I don't know how long you've been trading. You want to short when people are breathlessly bullish. We still are past the peak of INQ. INQ peaked a while back. Pricing data is life for me. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, short fees aren't that big. You actually get a short rebate. Shorting gives you shorting should give you net interest income. If you short hard to borrow stuff, you're gonna pay for it. Show me where INQ is up a huge amount. We didn't start shorting at 10. Where do you think we started shorting? January was the big INQ short. January we were short, and we got, you can go back and watch the stream from that day. We got the Jensen short. The stock's done nothing since then. It's marked time. It's flat from January. I think people still think in their head of the 2024 run. I didn't even know about quantum until January. Late December, basically, after 𝗂𝐷𝗐𝐵 started. After we made the money on 𝗂𝐷𝐐𝐵, we pivoted to quantum. So I don't know what you guys are talking about. It fell dramatically twice, first with Jensen and then again. In March, it was practically dead. Then it came back. It's like it ran it back 3 times. Yeah, May, 28 to 39. That's not some insane move. Down 30% on a trade, you'll survive. You make that 4% of your portfolio, you lose 1% of your cash, God forbid. Problem is most people are taking 30%, 40%, 50% positions like lunatics. You want shortcuts. That's just called greed. Because when you have those roller coasters, you really start to panic when you're on the other side of the roller, whatever, long or short. If you're in a roller coaster stock, you really panic. We had a guy long Sarepta, and he panicked. He puked it all at 10 or 11 or 12 or something. Because you don't understand it. If you understood it, you're buying more. If you have confidence, you're buying more. But if you don't understand it, I got to get out of this before I completely lose all my money. Yeah, you can have a large position. I just, be ready for the vol. Don't complain about it when you have the volatility or the variance. If you make a really large position, you're asking for it, right? You're basically implicitly saying, I am okay with huge swings. You make a huge position. If you make a small position, you give yourself breathing room, a chance to not, get nervous around volatility. Look at how I'm treating Newegg. I just laugh at it. It's a reasonable position size. I can live with almost any outcome here. But when you're massively levered, 5-10% move is going to really hurt you. That's why in the world would you want to be in that position? Yeah, people want to retire in 10 trades, exactly. And paradoxically, it just gets you, it's just going to liquidate you because you don't have that confidence. So you take the slow and steady road. Not only is it much easier in your psychology, but you'll persevere. Now, of course, I don't necessarily practice what I preach. there does come times where you should be breaking your own rules, but you better be confident. You better be, I think the big disconnect is when you get something you didn't expect. That's the huge disconnect. You should always expect the, what if this stock has a precipitous decline, what would I do? Without hesitation, say, I'm going to buy more. Or in some cases, you're going to say, I'm going to sell it. You should have a plan for those positions. It's amazing, most people just don't even think about it at all. They just, I'll decide that. But, if you have a drug company, a lot of these drug companies, like Sarepta and others, they have single assets. They literally have one asset, one major asset. Sometimes they'll have two, but, it's rare that you're going to, Palantir is one major asset, Something dramatically changes about demand for AI or enterprise software, Palantir's got a problem. Maybe demand changes the other direction. Palantir's going to be a big winner, but, you're buying vol. So you have to have a plan for when or if something dramatically changes. Your plan shouldn't be it's never going to change. You should at least think about the possibility that, yeah, it could change. If it changes, this is what I would do. Then you can't have a position that big. That's just crazy. Now, again, with biotech binaries, that's why I really do try to make sure there's no doubt. That's why I write those on the impossible series. When I say something's impossible, it's impossible. But even then, you got to kind of be careful. But that's why I write these long papers. How can I be wrong? Where is the possibility that I'm wrong? And you see what we did with 𝗩𝗏𝗏𝗏 and the 𝗂𝐵𝐴 people. You saw what we did with all these things, right? We're looking for, the 𝗕𝗢𝗙𝗢𝗕𝗢. How could we be wrong? Let's talk to these guys. And, they give us more confidence, if anything. Talk to, what's his name? The country rich? Country dumb? Who has something intelligent to say? I think more deaths are priced in. But I'm wondering if that's, stock's weak, maybe. Maybe it's that. Starting my own rumors. I'm running our business, Glenn. I'm on the phone. I'm talking to my developers. I have sales and marketing plans. We're planning a new feature. What is wrong with you? We did a survey of our channel as to how much capital you guys wanted in the account. And you picked 30K, which is why I did the 30K. You can't win with some of these people. I'm distracted from what? I'm focused. I'm on point. Yeah, back to glazing. Thank you.